Okay, this is take two. I'm gonna need you to really focus on not what is on my head, but what is coming out of my mouth. Even though what is coming out of my mouth is also ridiculous. But I'm gonna need you to really focus. Um, I thought I heard footsteps. Anyway, I couldn't find my goddamn beanie anywhere. And so this was the only thing that fits my head because I have a big head. What are here noises? Anyway, apparently my house might be haunted. Oh no, it's the dryer. I put clothes. Anyway, I have a big old head. So anytime that I put on a hat, it looks like I'm wearing a yarmulke. I look Jewish. I'm not Jewish. I don't even know what lachaim means. This is a great way to start my video, by the way, talking about religion. How are you guys? So I ended up taking VTO today from work. I requested it as a joke, and I actually got it, which is why I'm able to make this video. I haven't had VTO in so long. For those of you that don't know, VTO stands for voluntary time off, meaning that when it's super dead, you can volunteer your time. I'm not getting paid, but that's fine. Anyway, we're not talking about that right now. What I want to talk about, please take me serious. And it also has like a little thing on the back, like a little butt thing. Did you see my hair? How crazy it looks? How insane? It looks crazier without this. I had a tough time putting it on. And it's very hot as well. People were wearing this in June at Disney Springs. Not Disney Springs. Disney Sea. I should have gotten another one. Maybe one with like a longer tail. We're not talking about that. You need to stay on subject. I'm gonna Okay. Anyway, can you tell that I'm excited? Also, this is cup number 2 of some coffee. That looks gross on camera. It looks watered down. Maybe because it is. It's iced. It was an iced coffee. It looked a lot nicer earlier. Anyway, I've already wasted enough time and money. Time, I'm very good at wasting. Money, however, I'm also very good at wasting. So, I guess, it's a mini talent show. Anyway, we're not talking about that. You need to focus. You need to stay on track. I'm getting tired of telling you. Anyway. Oh my god, did I ever show you guys this? It's been a hot minute since I recorded a video, so I'm like excited to be back. It's exciting to have free time and be able to record a video. But I went to the Flix Brewhouse thing. I went to the Fan Fest for Spirited Away. And they were giving out these little cups. So, I think I've already shown you this. But I'm showing you again. We're not talking about... You guys, I have a limited amount of free time. I need you to focus and calm down, all right? I'm gonna need you to also not talk so loud. Maybe breathe a little quieter. Maybe look away. No, but in all seriousness, I don't really have that much time. And I was like, fuck it, let's do a YouTube video. I'm not even gonna edit it. It's gonna look stupid. So whatever. It is what it is. Que sera, sera. I believe that's what the kids are saying. What am I looking at? Oh, I was looking like over here. Anyway, focus. I'm gonna do a little mini rant. Not rant. I mean, I'm gonna talk about Xenoblade Chronicles. I know. Whoa, the hottest, latest news. Let's talk about Xenoblade Chronicles, a game that came out in 2000 whatever on the Wii in Japan, and then they like put it over here after people were whining about it, and then now it's like the definitive edition, but it's like it's a remake because I've seen footage of the Wii game and it looks like dog shit. It looks really bad and ugly. All the characters are all weird and slimy. I don't know. A quick little review. I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. Thank you for coming to my review of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. No, but in all seriousness, would I recommend this game to people? Yeah, sure. I don't know. I would say maybe walk, don't run. to play this game, but definitely get there at some point. I would, there was a lot of things that kind of annoyed me about the game. Like, for example, how Shulk. And by the way, spoilers. Spoilers. If you don't care, then continue watching. I don't care. Anyway, Shulk, the main character, he's a little inconsistent. Like, one day he's like, I'm gonna kill all the Mechon. And then the next day he stops Dunban from killing Mumkar, who's like the reason this whole journey kind of started, considering that he killed like the love interest at the beginning of the game. And now all of a sudden it's like, no, we don't kill our own, we don't kill Holmes. But then when you're inside the Mechonis, you're killing faced Mechon, so I don't know where any of that went. I don't know. It's only people that have names and faces, I guess. They're the ones that count. I looked it up online as to why Shulk stopped Dunban from killing Mumkar. And apparently it was like because he had compassion and his viewpoints had changed. I was like, how? How did his viewpoints change? Because we literally just finished the Snowy Mountain thing. We went through Sword Valley. We got to Galahad Fortress. Nothing in between then. There was no story beats to change it. You were trying to kill Homeboy back in the mountain, and now you're trying to save him, but there was nothing in between. Do you get me? So, I don't know. Maybe I need to replay it. Speaking of replaying, once I beat the game, I was like, I'm never playing this game ever, ever, ever again. And then literally the next day, the Stockholm Syndrome was kind of hitting me, and I was like, I want to play this again. So, it's weird. It's like, I miss it. I miss the music. I miss the world. I miss the playing it for the first time. You know, that feel. So, it's not all bad. It was not a bad game. But you know what? I'm excited for the second one and the third one, because I've seen clips. And I don't know. It looks like they might have fixed some of my complaints that I had about the game. Also, can we, since we were talking about Shulk for a second, can we continue talking smack about him? Because Homeboy was emotionally photobombing every conversation. Like what was he doing? He, like, every time something would happen, everybody would be like, Shulk, how do you feel about this? And I'm like, why are you asking him? Like, literally at the beginning of the game, Fiora dies, and Shulk goes to comfort Dunban. A little bit of a context if you've forgotten. Dunban is Fiora's older brother. He's taken care of her because their parents are dead. She's the only family he has left. She was tending to him for almost a year while his arm was all fucked. She was the only family that he had. She was the only one taking care of him. She was the only one that saw him, not for the icon of Colony 9, but for her brother, a human. She died, and, you know, you would think, oh, he's going to be pissed, or, oh, you know, something's going to happen. And it's like, Shulk goes to comfort him, and then Dunban's like, but how are you doing, Shulk? I know you guys were close. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, they were close, but, like, I mean, weren't you closer? I don't know, they just kept handing all these emotional moments over to Shulk on a silver platter. And Shulk didn't know what to do with them, because he was even... there were some points in the game where even Shulk was like, this is your moment, brother. Like, I wish there was more moments where the characters themselves could shine that weren't the heart-to-heart things. Like, the heart-to-hearts are great. I thought that was a great idea. I hated that once you unlocked one, you needed to go to every single one in that area to find out which one was the correct one. So I hated that, but I thought the heart-to-hearts were a really good idea. I also hated that, you know, it wasn't just incorporated into the story. Like, we couldn't have these character interactions throughout the story. It was just plot. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't, you know, stay focused. One of my biggest gripes, because right now I'm playing Phoenix Wright, I'm doing the whole trilogy, and one of my biggest gripes is that they are more distracted than me. Maya is always talking some shit about some dumb shit. Pearl is over here wasting my goddamn time with her feelings. Everybody's always going off. I hated the circus case. I wanted everybody to be found guilty. Right now, I'm in Trials and Tribulations, and I'm doing the Mask case. I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of over it. I want to play the other Ace Attorney games. It's just that it's been 3 games and there has been 0 new mechanics added, except for the little pearl thing where you can like unlock their secrets. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? The manga. I don't know what it's called. I have no idea what it's called. We were talking about Xenoblade Chronicles though. Anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles. What else? Oh, and then there was. It wasn't even Shulk's fault. This one. It was just everybody was like, "This is a very emotional moment for us. Let's talk about Shulk." Why, sir? I was interested in you. Like, for example, one of my favorite characters was Dunban. And the reason I found him so interesting was because he could have, and I still kind of had hope throughout the whole game. I was like, he could have been such a complex character. He could have been so good. Because think about it. Homeboy's sister was murdered by his ex-best friend. They have now been both turned into robots. He finds out that his ex-best friend is now a robot. Then he finds out his sister's alive and she is now a robot. And then he finds out his other ride or die best friend is also a bad guy. This man cannot catch a break. Not once did he shed a tear. Not once did he... The only time he showed emotion was when he was about to kill Mumkar and Shulk stopped him because of reasons. No, I know the reason. They wanted to make Shulk like the goody two-shoes character that could do no wrong and he always knew the right thing to do. But it was kind of like, Shulk, stop being a cockblock for revenge, you know? It's like, it doesn't feel good. And then either way, Mumkar ends up dying regardless. But it's like, oh, like, let's let him die, but not because of Shulk. It's not satisfying. I wanted Dunban to kill him. That Dunban deserved at least that. And then there was a moment where when everybody falls off Galahad Fortress and then they're on the fallen arm, everybody's kind of separate, which I thought was good. I was like, okay, there's no way Shulk is going to be, you know, taking over any of these conversations. He's over there with Fiora doing weird things. And then we have Ryan and Sharla over here. And then Ryan starts talking about Shulk. And I'm like, okay, maybe Ryan kind of makes sense considering, you know, they're best friends. He's worried about him and Fiora. So, okay, Ryan makes a little bit of sense. And then we get to the weirdest trio. We get Melia, Ricky, and Dunban. And they're all together. And I was like, you know what? This could be really good. This could be a really good conversation for them to have. And they're like, you know, they're all kind of walking, and then Ricky's like, oh, Ricky tired. Ricky is very tired. Ricky, I loved him at first, but I got over him so quick. I was like, Ricky, you shut your furry ass up. I am so sick of you. But anyway, Melia is obviously tired, so Ricky pretends that he's tired, so that way, because she's prideful, right? So that makes sense. And so Dunban and Ricky, they're kind of talking around a fire. Melia's asleep. And so Ricky's like, Ricky, want to know more about Dun? Because that's what he would call Dunban, which I thought was so cute. But anyway, we're not talking about that. I legitimately, I was so hyped for this conversation. Because in my mind, in my brain, and my thoughts, in my head, I was like, this is good. This is so good. You've set up 3 really different characters, but they're all relatively the same. I mean, you could have Dunban talking about the pressures of being the hope, not only for the Holmes, but for his entire colony, for everybody, because he was the only one at the time that could wield the Monado. Maybe, you know, growing up, having to raise his sister, and then seeing her lost, and then coming back, and then seeing that his ex-best friend was the one that killed her willingly. And, you know, it's like there was so much to unpack. And I feel like Dunban really could have had a great scene here, not only like with Ricky and Melia, because then Ricky could have been like, oh, Ricky knows that, you know, maybe Ricky could have dropped a bomb on us and been like, oh, well, Ricky knows that the Elder only sent Ricky because Ricky's a screw up. And, you know, Ricky is only doing this for his little pawn who, you know, also depend on him. So Ricky knows where Dun is coming from. You know, we could have had such a nice little character bond there. And then maybe Melia wakes up and she also puts in her 2 cents. You know, for being the stoic character and for being the serious one, she really had the most character moments, I guess. She could have also been like, you know, I completely get where you 2 are coming from. You know, the responsibility of having people depend on you, and, you know, the thing is with me that nobody even knew that I existed. I have to hide my face, and because my people are racist towards me, and they're, because I have dirty blood or something. I don't know. So this could have been such a good conversation for all three of them to have. Xenoblade Chronicles has so many characters that we could talk about, but they all talk about Shulk. So let me tell you how the conversations actually went. Melia didn't wake up at all. Melia stayed asleep. She was in La La Land. She was dreaming about a better game. I'm sorry. No, that was mean. I apologize. that was mean. So, and then Ricky goes to Dunban and he's like, I want to know your story. And you know what Dunban says? Well, Shulk and Fiora like each other, but they don't, say it to each other yet. And I'm like, why are you talking about your OTP at this moment, sir? What is it about shipping your younger sister with this child? What? He was asking about you, Dunban, not your fantasies, you weirdo. You psycho. That's weird. That's a weird thing to talk about. Like if somebody asked me, tell me about you. Tell me your story. Oh, well, my grandma has diabetes. I didn't ask you about your fucking grandma, brother. I asked you about you. You know what I mean? So it's like they could have had such a good moment there, and they didn't. They didn't. Like, for example, Shulk not killing Eggle, everybody and their mom is kind of telling him, hey, you need to kill him. Literally, the dad, the sister, they were all telling Shulk, hey, you have our permission to kill this fool because he's gone loco crazy. He's psycho. At that point, Shulk not killing Eggle, that one made sense because there was many story beats between Galahad Fortress falling and when Shulk faced against Eggle again inside the Mechonis, right? So, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. There was also a few things gameplay-wise that kind of annoyed me. I personally like a good JRPG. A matter of fact, my Switch is full of them. I love... They're so fun. I don't know why. I find them so satisfying. But I'm also... The thing with me, the way that I play a JRPG, and, maybe it was just the game and I just didn't really click on certain parts. So, the way that I like to play, I like to over-level my characters. I'm that person. I like to grind. I know, it's weird. Put on an audiobook and just grind for a couple hours while listening to an audiobook. I know you're probably sitting there like, why would you do that? And I was like, well, I don't know, it's relaxing. I like it. And, I get to explore the world in a much more like calm manner, whereas I'm not trying to get to the next story beat or something. So that's kind of how I play my JRPGs. I like to take my time. I like to be over leveled. So when I first started playing this game, that's what I started doing. I was just treating it like any other JRPG. So I was fighting and fighting and fighting. I spent many hours of fighting, and I noticed that I wasn't getting that many experience points. And I was like, that's weird. So I had to change my perspective, and I was like, okay, so this game, you don't gain experience by fighting. And if you're like, wait a minute, bells are ringing in my hair, and my ears, and my thoughts, and my brain, and my mind. Okay, now those are footsteps for real. But it's my grandma. I can hear her shuffling from a mile away. Anyway, I know, like, people that have played Xenoblade Chronicles, you're probably like, that's not true. I'm getting to it, I promise. Everything that I'm about to say is going to eventually make sense. That's kind of how I am as well. I like to first lay out the whatever foundation and then provide bullshit later. So this is how I was playing it, right? And then I noticed, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not getting that many experience points. And then I was like, okay, I guess this game is more about exploration and doing the side quests. So I started doing all of the side quests. I would change the time because I noticed that new side quests would pop up like during the day, during the night, afternoon, and things like that. So it was kind of annoying, but I was whatever. And I was, it was good. I was having, they were side quests, and they were not even great side quests, but whatever. side quests nonetheless. And they were giving me quite a bit of experience points as well. And the way that I was playing the game was that I would explore, I would do all the side quests in the area. Again, I would change the time. And then once I was sure that I've done all the side quests, at least the ones that gave me experience points, I would move on to the next area. Keep in mind, I would not run away from monsters because I still wanted to get better at fighting and moving the arts thing around, right? So I wasn't exactly like doing other things. Yeah, I was just playing the game. The game wants me to explore. The game wants me to do the side quest. That's what I'm doing. And by the way, can I just say, I've never felt so gaslit before in my entire life. I have, but like not by an entire community, because I gotta say, there were so many times where I'm like, I'm playing this wrong. Something's not right. I'm not doing something right. And I would look up online and people's comments on forums and like things like that. They were like, oh, I just did the side quests. I didn't even explore. Or, oh, all I did was explore and I did a few side quests here and there. And I didn't have any issues with leveling up. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, so this is going to be a pretty chill game. All right, so there's no grinding. I guess I was just wasting my time, but I still kind of enjoyed, exploring, fighting against really tough monsters and so on. So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to keep going for it. And so then we get to the first big issue. When I was exploring, I was kind of looking through all the menus and stuff, and then I saw a thing called expert mode. We're getting there. So I opened it up and it gave me a little tutorial, and it was like expert mode. You can lower your level for a more challenging run. That's what it said. You can lower your level for a more challenging run. And I was like, I don't see the benefits. Like, we're getting to it. I'm just like, I just don't see the benefits. I'm never going to use this. Maybe it's for people that have constantly played the game and they want to replay it as like, at a harder level or something. Or, challenge themselves. Like how the game is telling them, right? So I just continue on my merry way. I get to the end of the Colony 6 era when you're inside the mine. You're fighting against that faced Mechon, the one that has like a southern accent for some reason. Everybody's British, homeboy's from Texas. My grandma's fucking with my laundry, and I'm gonna go beat her ass. No, I'm just kidding. She turned off the fucking dryer. So she literally came, turned off the dryer, and then walked away. She's gone. She left. She was like, oh, time to clog his toilet next. She literally came to turn off the goddamn dryer while my clothes... Oh, rude! I'm gonna put laxatives in her coffee. I'm not gonna do that. She's a diabetic. She'll die. But anyway. Oh, old people. You gotta love them. Anyway, sorry. I just went off on a little thing. I'm so mad. I'm like, why would she do that? She didn't even turn it back on. It's off. It was currently running. What the fuck? Why would she do that? I'm gonna go trip her. I'm gonna do a dead leg on her. Sorry, no, I'm not gonna do that. It's a joke. I'm joking. Anyway, back to my complaining. Oh my god, that is annoying. By the way, have you guys seen that Bath and Body Works? These were $1 the other day. These are the things, for your hands, the hand sanitizers, but they have the moisturizing effect now. They moisturize your hands now. So I'm taking these to Disney. I'm going to Disney later this year. Focus, you guys. Please, I need you to focus because it's like, I can't focus. This isn't coming out. Oh shit. It's like sliding. Anyway. What was I complaining about now? Oh, right. Expert mode. And then... Oh, I was fighting that faced Mechon. The one that's like at the bottom of the shaft and you're whatever. And then the game pops up a new tutorial. and it's like chain attacks. And I was like, what's this? And then it's like whenever you see the blue triangle, you click on it and you can weaken your enemies, especially ones that you're having issues with, like faced Mechon. So I was like, all right, I guess this is used to weaken enemies, right? So I'm like, okay. So from then on, all I would do was explore. I would fight monsters along the way. Like I wasn't like, because I know JRPGs, you get horribly penalized if you run away from all battles. Sorry, I'm still thinking about the dryer. I can't believe she did that. Anyway. Oh, by the way, have you guys... I'm so sorry. I got distracted. Have you guys had the stuffed crust from Domino's? It's good. It's good. I thought they were going to stuff it with Parmesan, but no. It's like the Parmesan is sprinkled on top. I was like, ugh. Like a whole thing of Parmesan in your fucking mouth? But no. It's mozzarella. But the top is sprinkled with Parmesan. It's really good. Sorry, I apologize. Oh, this thing is hot. It's so hot in this office. She's coming back. What do you think she's gonna do now? Pour water in my fucking clothes? Do you think she's gonna... she's coming back. She lights my clothes up. Was that lighter fluid that I saw her with? I think she's taking my clothes out of the dryer. They weren't done yet, by the way. She's taking my clothes out of the dryer. I just put them there. They weren't dry yet. Anyway, what is she doing? Fucking hat. Like, oh my god. Do you all live with old people? Like, we've all had those thoughts, right? Like, just a little push. I'm kidding. I'm joking. It's a joke. Relax. Anyway. Whatever. I'll just put it back later. Anyway, so that's the tutorial for the chain for the chain attacks. I'm so sorry. This video is super long. I'm not editing any of this, by the way. This is all staying on there. I don't care. It's all staying in there. That is watered down. So then I continue playing the game with the thought, oh, I'm going to use the chain attacks at the beginning of a fight. That way I can weaken the enemy, and then I'll just explore and do all this other thing. And yeah, I'll just whatever. So I finished the whole thing with Egil. Egil? E-G-I-L. That's his name. What is she doing? Do any of you want an old woman in your house? There's one up for sale in my neighborhood. Anyway, whatever. I'll deal with that later. I'm gonna turn off her washer because she just put a load in. So anyway, I'm so distracted right now. She's making a lot of noise, which is like fine, but I'm just like, what is she doing now? You know, I'm scared. So I was talking about all of those. Okay, so this is after you defeat Egil. The Mechonis is no more. And you are now inside of the Bionis. In my mind, I was doing fine because I was exploring. I was doing everything that everybody said that I needed to do. And I was level 71. by the time I got to Larinthia, or whatever her stupid name is, I was like, this is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy because whatever, you know? So I get to Larinthia and I'm getting absolutely just demolished. Just absolutely annihilated. Everybody is. And I'm like, what is going on? I was like, what? Because I was like, I heard you can beat the game on like level 72. I'm level 71. So I should be fine. And then I look up more tutorials and more things online. Meanwhile, I'm talking with ChatGPT about this whole thing. And I'm like, hey, what the fuck? And ChatGPT's like, well, you need to, this is a good way to do it. You need to lower your level and then do chain attack finishers. And I was like, what are you talking about? What are any of these things? I was like, whatever. So I just kept looking up on forums and things like that. First of all, I was underleveled for that fight. I needed to be at least level 72. Second of all, and I was so mad. Second of all, expert mode. So the way that the leveling works in Xenoblade Chronicles and the way you get experience points is you get a lot of experience points if you're 5 levels underneath the monster. So here's the monster, here are you 5 levels below. Right? Pretty easy. You're getting quite a bit of experience points. The closer you get, the less experience points you get. The farther away you get and you surpass them, the less and less you start making. The game never explained that to me. I didn't know. Because every single JRPG, the monsters give you the same amount of experience points regardless of your level. It could also be that I had just finished both Dragon Quest XI and Persona 5 Royal, which, yeah, they were, they were just like regular JRPGs. JRPGs, the level of the monster and the level of your character, those don't matter. They don't. So when I found out lowering your level and using expert mode, I was like, you're fucking lying. I was so mad. And I went back to the tutorial and I was like, does it say here that that's like a game mechanic thing? It doesn't. It doesn't. So I was now grinding super late in the game using expert mode. Oh, and here's the other thing. Remember how ChatGPT was like, oh, you gotta use chain attack finishers? I was like, what? If you kill an enemy while in the chain attack thing, you get more experience points. This one I also looked on the tutorial because I was like, maybe I missed it. Maybe I didn't pay attention. No, it didn't say that. It didn't say that. So these two things, one of them I wasn't using at all, which was expert mode. If I had known, I would have been using it the entire fucking game. And the second thing, chain attack finishers, which again, I didn't know about. Otherwise, I would have been using the entire fucking game. You told me expert mode is for more challenging run, and chain attacks are for lowering your enemies, whatever. Or for managing harder enemies. That's it. That's all I was told. That's all the information I was given. Now, this could be like a both type thing. Like, maybe the game could have explained it a little better. Oh, I feel so bad. She was having tummy problems yesterday. Tummy problems? What am I, 5? She was having stomach issues. That sounded... I hated that. I hope she's better. Anyway, I've lived with her for over 10 years. So, she has these little things that, oh, Grandma, you're so cute. Oh. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Everything's just flying off everywhere. I don't know why. So that was my experience with Xenoblade Chronicles. I wished that they could have at least added that to the expert mode thing and be like, because and if you're like, wait a minute, the game does explain the different level things, and it's like the game kind of does. It tells you if an enemy is level like red, if their name is red, then you are way below their level and they're gonna kick your ass. If they're yellow, they're a little bit more manageable. Blue, and they were explaining the colors. They never explained how much experience points you got. As a matter of fact, I have my Switch right here. Let's look it up. And I'm not gonna stop recording. Oh god, and you know what? I just remembered as well. This is actually my second Switch. Oh my god, you guys. So I didn't even tell you. I was playing, I'm like stalling while I boot up Xenoblade Chronicles. I didn't even tell you guys that I dropped my Switch into my brother's pool because I'm an idiot. Hello? I dropped my brother's pool. Huh? I dropped my Switch into my brother's pool. So I had to buy this one off Facebook Marketplace for about $150. And then mine started working again. So I'm like, whatever. I guess I have a second Switch now. And I've been using this one. But anyway, I'm booting up Xenoblade Chronicles right now. I downloaded it from the other one. Whatever. By the way, can I just say the ending screen where everybody's sitting on the dock? I love that. And the ending was great. It was so good. It was great. I loved it. I had issues with the final boss as well. But that one was more of a skill issue than anything. I'll admit it. I'm not the best player. I'm actually pretty bad at JRPGs. But I love them. Okay. So let me see if there's a way. New Game Plus, options. Is there a way for me to just access the tutorial? No, huh? I would need to load the game first. Chapter 17. Let me go to this one. Oh my god, I just realized I was still using expert mode with the final boss. I was like, because I have multiple save files. One of them was like level 80 whatever. And then the one that I finished the game with was like level 81. And then the other one was like level 84 or something. And I was like, oh, maybe that's also why I was struggling. I didn't realize. Okay, so I'm opening up tutorials. What were the two things that I was complaining about? I was complaining about equipment, affinity during battle, luring monsters, danger levels. Okay, so here's the thing. So here's the first one, right? Let me read you exactly what it says. It says, red, danger. You can tell a monster's danger level from the color in the target window. The higher the danger level, the more difficult it is to hit the monster and evade its attacks. That's all it says. So it's just telling you about the colors, right? Okay, maybe, and that's page 1 of 1. That's it. There's no other pages. So let me go to another one. You know what? Let me put my Joy-Cons on because this is kind of annoying. I have my Joy-Cons over here. It's because I had been playing earlier. Again, I'm kind of like over the whole. I'm just kind of over the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Okay, so incapacitation. It's not that one. Oh, I went too far down. Buffs and debuffs. No. What was I? Battling faces? Okay, so here's another one. Battling the faces. This is the one that I got during my fight with that one face mechon. It says inflicting brain break, inflicting break. Oh my god, my hair looks. I'm getting a haircut soon, I promise. Okay, so it says inflicting break during a chain attack. Where are you? Large monsters can resist break arts. However, they generally cannot defend against a break art used during a chain attack. If you encounter monsters that can resist break arts, try to inflict break during a chain attack. And then this one has part 2. Fill up the party gauge by pulling off bonus effects. An art's bonus effect will fill up the party gauge. Achieving a burst affinity will also fill up the party gauge. Press B at the right moment when the burst affinity circle appears. Okay, so that's another one. it was telling you, hey, some monsters can resist break, and but therefore resist topple. So, okay. Let me look up chain attack. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna be so embarrassed if it does say it and I just don't remember. Where is it? Chain attack. I just saw it. Oh god. Okay, here it is. Okay. Chain attacks. Using a chain attack. When carrying out a chain attack, you can select arts for the 3 members of the party to perform. This is kind of like the turn-based part that I really enjoyed. During a chain attack, any arts that were still in the cooldown phase will be available regardless. Yeah. And then using arts of the same color consecutively during a chain attack, I didn't know that either. I didn't know what they were talking about because the whole like fighting system in Xenoblade Chronicles is just weird. So it takes some getting used to. It's good. It's not bad. It just takes some getting used to. So they didn't. I didn't know what was going on when I was reading some of these tutorials. I was like, some same color. I was like, what are they talking about? What do the colors have to do with anything? And then as you play the game, you realize, oh, the orange ones are for aura, blue ones are some sort of buff or healing, so on and so forth. So. Using arts, yada yada yada, decide what type of chain attack to perform based on the circumstances. Talent arts will chain with any color, so try out different combinations. After a third party member using their art, chain link may be activated. When this occurs, press B at the right moment, and one party member will be able to use an additional art. The deeper the affinity between the party members, the easier it is to activate chain link. If you're lucky, you can activate chain link up to 15 times in a row. That actually happened to me one time and it was the weirdest thing ever, but it was so dope. Every time another art is used in the chain attack, there is a chance that chain link will be activated again. That was page 404, by the way. I don't know if you can see that. Page 404. So that's all that says. But I noticed that there was chain attack and break art. So let's read this. Inflicting topple on metal face. Oh, this is the one that I guess was when, we're fighting that one guy. The Monado has no effect on Mechon with faces. You will have to inflict break and topple before you will be able to deal damage. It may be difficult to inflict break on larger monsters, but it is almost always possible if part of a chain attack. Use a chain attack to inflict break. Nowhere on there does it say that if you defeat a monster using chain attack, you'll get extra experience points. So... okay, let's look at the party gauge. Maybe the party gauge will explain the chain attacks, which will then explain more experience points. I actually haven't read the party gauge. It still had the little red circle. So maybe it's on there. I don't know. I could be wrong. Again, I've spent so many hours. By the way, everybody beat this game in approximately 55 to 60 hours. It took me 95. Just saying. I was actually grinding, but I didn't know about expert mode and the benefits. So... anyway, so this one's party gauge. The party gauge has been added. This gauge shows the party's morale. The gauge increases when a bonus effect or a critical hit occurs. Press B near an incapacitated party member to revive them. To revive a party member, there needs to be at least 1 block in the party gauge. When there are 3 blocks in the party gauge, the party is linked by a blue line and you can perform a chain attack. Move the cursor to the talent arts icon using plus up or down to select the chain attack icon and then press A to confirm. Nothing regarding extra experience points. Okay. My phone stopped recording, and I was still talking. Luckily, it didn't. Luckily, I kind of noticed it a little too soon. Not a little too soon. I noticed it right there. Hello? Okay, so where was I? Oh, expert mode. Hang on, I have to find it again because a few things happened. Expert mode. Alright, let's get back on track. I apologize. I'm back. My phone stopped recording. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, as I was saying, expert mode. We're talking about expert mode right now. Expert mode lets you store a portion of earned experience points for later use, rather than being granted to a character immediately. You can enable it by opening the system menu with plus, going to expert mode and toggling the option. Expert mode is disabled by default. When expert mode is enabled, all further experience gained through completing quests, discovering landmarks and locations, and gaining achievements will be reserved for later use. The expert mode option in the system menu, accessed with plus, lets you manually adjust party characters' levels. Increasing a character's level will cost reserve experience points. Reducing a character's level will convert excess experience points back into reserve EXP. Level adjustments is performed individually for each character. Select your desired character with A, then pick the desired level and confirm with A. While leveling up, the maximum level available with your current reserve EXP will be shown. You cannot lower a character's level beyond the level they were first introduced at. And that was it. That was it. Oh, my Joy-Con is, it's doing wonderful. Hint quest. Oh, it's doing that thing, that cute little thing, where it just does whatever it wants. What's it called? Not a lag. Fighting with Melia alone. Why is there a whole thing here? Oh, right. She was fighting in the tomb by herself. Battling faces, party formation, the reconstruction, buffs, debuffs, buff tutorial, debuff tutorial, reorganizing arts, skill links continued, Monado arts, purge, shield, visions, item visions, climbing walls, harvesting crystals, gem slots, gem crafting. I hated the whole gem thing. It was annoying. Using Monado arts, leveling up Monado arts, playing battling Mechon, traveling, skipping travel, targeting and commands, unique monsters, monster types, chain attack, and break art, maybe? Oh no, I already did that one. Party gauge, skills, maybe skills? No, that talks about the skill tree. Heart to heart, affinity cries, expert mode, landmarks and locations. There's nothing that goes into what, like, experience points. I should close my office door. But I'm not gonna, because the video is almost over. I promise. So yeah, it was just a few things. It took me a hot minute. I was literally on hour 85 when I found that out, so I'm excited for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3, which I do want to play, but I don't know, I'm just excited for those because now that I know expert mode is the thing, and I know that chain attacks are a thing, the finishers, I'll be able to over level again, like how I want to, like how I like to. Look away. Sorry, my uncle was passing by and he just stared at me. Like, you're gonna need to subscribe if you want to see this. So I know I did a whole lot of complaining, just a little bit, but those were honestly, they weren't even like serious offenders. If I'm being totally honest, they were just kind of little annoyances where I feel like the game could have communicated their tutorials a little better, maybe shown a benefit. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Other than those little gripes, eventually I found it out, and eventually I figured it out, and you know, whatever. I wish that I could have experienced the game with all of that already known, but it is what it is, and honestly, I'm just waiting for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3 to go on sale so I can buy them. I don't buy games unless they're on sale. So what I like to do is I like to, every time I get a paycheck, I put $40 in my Nintendo account, and if there's no games that like catch my attention or anything, then I'll just wait for my next paycheck, and then I put another $40, and then I start building funds up that way. And by the time I find games, they're usually like companies having full sales. Like right now, Square Enix is having a sale, and Atlas. Oh my god, they're all having sales. So I didn't close the door, so that was on me. But anyway, that was it. I just wanted to rant a little bit, wanted to talk about the game a little bit, because as much as I love talking with ChatGPT, there are limits. So for example, I'll complain about something in the game, and then later on I'll come back and I'm like, you remember when I complained about this one thing? And then ChatGPT's like, sure, I remember you complained about this thing. And I was like, what? No, I didn't. You're lying. You liar. Sorry. Anyway, I think that's it. Subscribe. Subscribe so that I can make this my full-time job, because I really do like recording videos, but you know, I just don't have the opportunities. Also, I've been playing a lot of games. Do you guys want me to show you the games that I'm playing right now? Okay, so some of these games I've just bought, but I haven't played them. I haven't started playing them, nothing. So, and remember, this is my new Switch, so I don't have all the games. My Switch that fell into the pool, the screen doesn't work anymore, so it only works on TV mode, and obviously I'm not going to pull in my whole TV. I could take my phone, but I'm not doing that. So we have Mario Odyssey, which is not mine. It came already with the game, with the Switch. This was the previous owners. Mario Odyssey, Mario Maker 2, Monster Hunter Stories. Can I say Monster Hunter Stories so far is pretty cute? But why do the animations take so long? Also, I hate Naviru's voice. I hate it. Hey, buddy. Shut your ass up, you cat bitch. And then we have the Phoenix Wright Trilogy game. These are all games that are currently either playing. These are the games that I'm like, I'm not downloading every single game from my old Switch. I'm just doing the ones that I'm either going to replay at some point or whatever. And then I have Xenoblade Chronicles, Monster Hunter Rise, House Flipper, 13 Sentinels, Mario Party Superstars, Splatoon 2 and 3, Dragon Quest 11S, Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. What a fucking name, but what a damn good game that was. That one was so fun. I loved it. That was a good game. And then we have Super Mario Party Jamboree, Speedrunners, Limbo and Inside. Great games. I've played both of them multiple times. Great games. I'm so excited for Reanimal as well as Little Nightmares 3. I love those types of games. And then we have Mario Kart 8, Animal Crossing, Big Brain Academy, Toad Treasure Tracker. These are all games that I've kind of had. And then we have games that I'm like, you know, Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. Those are currently on sale. So if you're interested, the sale ends in about 10 days, I think, from this recording. I don't even know what day it is. I don't know what's going on. Raido, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. That one I thought was only going to be on the Switch 2, but no, this is the original Switch. I can't afford the Switch 2. I work and slave away, and I can't even afford a fucking console. I'm so sorry. That's not your fault. And then we have Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 4, because they were in a bundle, and they were also on sale right now. Like I said, I think Atlas is also having a sale. Mandragora, which looks like a really difficult game. I like a challenge, you know? I haven't started any of these, by the way. And then we have Disco Elysium, the final cut. I'm excited for that one. Why am I looking? And then Shin Megami Tensei 3 and 5. I'm very excited for those. I actually started playing Shin Megami Tensei 3, and I'm severely overleveled from what I've seen. Trials from Zero. The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. That's the first game that supposedly, if you want to get into the whole Legend of Heroes thing, apparently that's the one you want to start with. And then Pathfinder, I don't know. Ys, I just recently found out it's pronounced Ys. I've been saying YS this whole time. Lacrimosa of Dana. What a fun game that is turning out to be. So fun. And then Unicorn Overlord, I have not started. Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Portable. I'm so mad because I bought Persona 3 Portable, and then they announced Persona 3 Reload was going to be on the Switch too, and now I'm pissed. So, and then we have a little to the left, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Diablo 3, Diablo 2. I just recently restarted it because I started with a druid, but then I realized I've never played the Diablo games, so I didn't know what I was getting into. But then I realized I don't like the druid. I like the necromancer. And then we have Ace Attorney, but this is Investigations Collection with Miles Edgeworth. And then we have Apollo Justice. I haven't started any of those. Monster Hunter Stories 2, The Witcher 3, which I'm excited about because I've heard really good things about that game. Never played it. Nier Automata, the End of Yora edition. I don't know. Pretty fun so far. Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age. Why don't more games use the Gambit system? What a great little thing. The game plays itself. I think maybe that's what it is. A lot of people don't like that the game pretty much just plays by itself. With itself. And then Persona 5 Royal. I bought Persona 5 Royal because it was on sale. It was one of the best purchases I've ever made. I listened to the soundtrack so often. When I finished the game, I was crying for a few days afterwards. Because I'm like, I want to relive it. I can't wait to do it all over again. I love it. It turned into one of my favorite games of all time. And then Sonic Mania, which I'm bad at. I'm really bad at that game. So. How do you end a stream? This isn't streaming. This is a thing. You know what I can do? I can do like one of those don't forget to subscribe. Smash that like button. Peace.